Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Never in doubt?
Never in doubt. Suddenly my spirits were picked up immensely. I don't know why. I can't imagine why, other than like two kind of otherworldly skill plays by Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. That might have had something to do with it, but really my mood is vastly improved all of a sudden. The Oilers with a 3-2 win, overtime. It's Jack Michelson. Overtime. That's good. I like Jack's enthusiasm. And
he has some great calls. There are times I roll my eyes. Like when it's early in the second period and Vegas is down 1-0 and Edmonton's up 1-0, and he says, if these scores hold, Edmonton will be 2 points in front, which indeed they now are.
Well, Bruce,
just a little premature there.
But he threw down the reverse jinx on St. Louis tonight. Didn't you hear that? He said he said about 3-4 minutes left in the game, if the Oilers lose this one, this will be the first time this year, or since the start of the year, they've lost 3 in a row. So that's the he put the old jinx on St. Louis there, and it paid off. So just never know how it's going to work out. And Jack's consistent. He's always looking into the future, right? For both teams, he's an equal opportunity
futurist.
Futurist. Jinxer. Anyway, yeah. He calls a mean game, though. He calls a mean game. All right, Bruce. 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers. What do you say is your good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Connor McDavid as my good thing. And I'm going to go way out on a limb. Pick McDavid. If you were just to look at the event summary, and not the scoring side of it, but the other side of it, you would think nothing to see here. 1 shot on net, 4 shot attempts, of which 2 were blocked and 1 missed, 3 giveaways, 1 takeaway, and 3 out of 7 for 43% on the dot. That was the sum total of his events in the hockey game, and yet he was surely, yes, first star of this game. He had 1 goal, scored on his only shot, an absolutely wicked shot, 2 assists, 3 points, plus 1 at the end of the day, and by our count, contributions to 15 grade A shots, 15 grade A shots, 10 at even strength, 5 on the power play. Of course, even strength included some 3-on-3, some 6-on-5, some 5-on-5. But I was getting the strong feeling all night that if his line wasn't going to score, no one was going to score for Oilers. And in the end, that was mostly true, even as the unexpected overtime hero was Connor Brown. But I was on a play by Connor McDavid that was just staggeringly good. Anyway, the 3 goals are the plays that I'll focus on here out of the 15. The one on the power play where
what a shot!
He settled the puck down in the left face-off circle, and there was some traffic in front. He just snapped a wicked wrist shot right through all of that traffic and past them. Very sharp. I always get this guy's first name wrong. Jordan Binnington. I mix him up with Craig Billington from about 2 decades ago all the time for some reason. Anyway, Jordan Binnington, he had a good game, but he wasn't stopping this one, in part because I don't think he saw much of it. Just a wicked drive, and you wonder, that's his only shot on net? How, more please. But then the passes he made on the 2-2, which you're going to get into, so I won't say much other than it's a good pass. And then on the game-winning goal in overtime, where he and Draisaitl had a shift, Draisaitl changed off for Brown, And I thought they would both be off, but McDavid was still out there, and Bouchard was able to gain the zone and drop the puck back to McDavid, and he just made a all-world series of dangles, dingle, dangle, dongle, right through the St. Louis three guys, and kind of sucked everybody in his general direction, and then slipped a perfect backhand feed onto the tape that even Connor Brown couldn't miss. And I mean, good on Connor, his first career overtime goal, and good on him. I mean, he did the right thing. He said, I just tried to get open, and he did. And unlike Robert Thomas, he didn't miss the yawning, gaping, wide open net. He put the biscuit in the basket, and that was the game. But the setup by McDavid, my word. David, I love this new tool on NHL.com on the main page
Oh
of
yeah.
each game, the goal visualizer. And the goal visualizer's got this one down because you can see the puck shifting left, right as McDavid comes in, and then the pass across and instantly deposited into the net. And I particularly love the visualizer of overtime goals because then you see the whole team pouring over the board because they all got chips in their sweaters, right? It just tracks where everybody is
Oh,
on the
that's
ice.
really funny.
And suddenly there's 20 guys on the winning team that are on the ice, and you see the 4 guys on the other team dejectedly skate off or sometimes fire the puck off the boards in anger like Jack Eichel did the other night, which was fun. Anyway, this is a treat of a new feature that you can watch the goal, replay of the goal on the site, but you can also see this visualizer that just shows the positioning of all the players on the ice and the puck. And they circle the goal scorer, so you can kind of keep an eye on that guy as the play develops. You know, how does he get open? Where does he get to? Where does he score from? And
who scored this one, Bruce? The Danger Man.
The Danger Man was yeah.
Connor Brown.
It was Connor McDavid that did about 90% of the spade work. Nice play by Bush, but the dangling by McDavid, there was like 2 or 3 moves in there, and he kept cutting back into the middle. It wasn't like he tried to go wide on anybody. It was like he attacked the middle of the ice and melted the Blues defense, and then made that backhand sauce to Brown. What a way to finish a game. And I thought a game Edmonton deserved to win, and certainly Connor McDavid deserved his status as first star. Just one other comment on him. Before he ever scored at all in the first period, I thought he came out jumping right off the hop. I thought, this is best I've seen McDavid look in a month. Just the way he started the game and was sort of flying around and making things happen out there. And Oilers owned the first period 13 shots to 3, but they couldn't get one to go in, but not for lack of trying. And McD was at the center of a lot of that.
Yeah, the other night we were speculating whether they'd been sick because they looked so lackluster. And I think in the subsequent practice, McDavid might have missed it, actually. And so I think that they have been sick. The team's been sick. Lots of guys on the team sick. Very nice for Connor Brown. Of all the Connor Browns in the world, Bruce, he's the Connor Browniest. This time when Lucy put down the football, he kicked it right through the uprights.
Through the uprights. First goal in 22 games. Good timing, though.
Good for him. The great thing about McDavid's rushes, Dylan Holloway is still looking for his jockstrap, Bruce. He was the forward. He was the forward who gets deked initially. And McDavid just he keeps making little feints as if he's going to take the puck outside, and then he makes a fairly big feint with his stick that he's going to take it outside. And Holloway just bit, and he got spun right in a circle by McDavid's move. Then he goes in on none other than Philip Broberg. Now, Broberg is a defenseman. He's not going to get beat like that, like a forward will. Like a forward's going to get beat like that. Defensemen, like, they're watching the body, and he's a good defenseman.
They also know how to skate backwards. Most teams.
Yeah, that's right. And he's a lanky dude, Philip Broberg. Good stick. But McDavid was able just to get around his poking stick, long-reaching stick from the Plastic Man, and put it backhand through Broberg over to Connor Brown, who made no mistake. It was a fantastic play. It really was, Bruce. It was what a deke. There could only be one, Bruce, and it's Connor McDavid.
Yeah, well, to get Holloway and Broberg on the same one, and the third guy, blue on the ice, also has a strong Edmonton connection, Jake Neighbors,
Oh, there
who
you
of
go.
course played his junior hockey here with the Oil Kings. So all of them are former Edmonton, played for Edmonton teams.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was also nice just before that to see Stu Skinner still in the crosshairs, make a great, I thought, glove grab off of Broberg in overtime that would have won it for the Blues, and it would have been a real bitter pill to have Bro score in that particular situation. I'm rooting for him, but not in games against Edmonton. It's the same old,
Yeah.
same old. Anyway, Stu grabbed it and stared him down, and
Well, his biggest moment was against Neighbors in the second period when Neighbors
yes,
broke in.
breakaway.
John Klingberg made a mental error at the offensive blue line, rushed in. Corey Perry did too, making a back pass to no one in particular. That was not a great play by for a veteran to make a back pass to no one. And all of a sudden, Jake Neighbors is in there on the breakaway, and Stu Skinner got him good. Just got him out with his stick. It was a great play by Stu, but it's not my good thing, Bruce. My good thing is the tying goal. I was starting to despair. The Oilers had really dominated this game, Bruce, truth be told. The grade A shots were 23-10 for the Oilers. 23-10. With the subset of 5 alarm shots, more dangerous shots, 13-7 for the Oilers overall. So the Oilers really did deserve to win this game. And they just couldn't score enough goals and again. And then suddenly they were down, and it looked like they were going to lose. Like they're going into the minutes are ticking down, and quite honestly, they weren't getting a lot at net in the third period. So I think I actually missed one of the grade A shots. Here we go. Anyway, but with 2 minutes left, Connor McDavid. The Oilers are moving the puck around the offensive zone, and Connor McDavid makes one of his patented cross-seam passes, and then Leon Draisaitl just freaking lashes that puck into the net. The old executioner shot, Bruce. Fantastic goal. It's just such a thing of beauty. And it's interesting that not many NHLers can, well, not many. Can any other NHLers make that shot? Like, it's his shot.
Not like
And
that.
you don't see a lot. You see it now and then. Like now and then Connor Brown kind of did it on the winning goal. Like you'll see it now and then, a guy go down to one knee and kind of have that slashing motion with his stick as if you're going to chop someone's head off. Lashing the puck. But it's just with Draisaitl, it's just his unique combination of coordination, agility, and unbelievable strength, power that enables him above all other players to make that shot. And it is the most lethal weapon in the NHL, that shot. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've talked about this before. I know I have, about how he drops the stick right down from above onto the ice, just behind where the puck is coming to. And so it's not like a sweeping motion at all. It's a drop it down, and then once it hits the ice, sort of a 90-degree change in direction of the stick because it can't go down any further, of course, once it hits the ice. And watch this goal. There's one angle that shows him getting it right in the middle of his stick, like the absolute sweet spot. It's like seeing Tiger Woods hit a 360-yard drive, just absolutely crushed it. 2 games in a row, he came through with a shot like that with the goalie out to tie the score, in crunch time. And this one,
oh yeah, that's right.
There was no millimeter offside in the build up to this goal. And,
I was worried.
I looked at that goal again, and I was just head in my hands. Klingberg went offside the other night. Yes. You know where he went? like he led the play over the line and was offside, and he moved about 3 feet inside the blue line and stopped because he was playing on the right point. He had absolutely zero reason to be ahead of the play in terms of where his destination was. It wasn't like he was a
Are you
winger
talking
trying
last
to
game?
time and
Just wait. Are
drive
you
it to the
talking
net.
last game, Bruce?
Last game, yeah.
Oh, last game. All right. You're still living
Yeah,
that. You're still
the
living that
offside, the
moment.
Klingberg
Okay.
offside
All right. Okay.
was he
Just
went offside and he wasn't going anywhere. He was just basically stopping at the spot, but I gotta get there out of the puck.
it's last game, Bruce. Last game.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm just saying. I watched again, and I think I wonder where he went. Like, did he, you know, was he on a mission to the net? Was he on a mission to Mars? Where was he going? He was going almost nowhere, and so no real reason to be preceding the play other than general rustiness.
He's going 57
So he
miles west of Venus.
gets a little bit of a pass for the rustiness part, but uh, he's going to have some making up to do.
He had another few moments tonight. He had some good moments tonight.
Yep. And some hide your eyes moments.
Yeah, and so it'll get old after a while. It's not old yet. Like I'm just actually still super encouraged by his skating and passing ability. He seems to be moving well, and I think it's going to take a while. Like I wish, too bad there's not another month in the season or 2 months in the season, but he does actually have to the end of the season. It's essentially 2 months of hockey, right? Mid-February to mid-April. So he's got, well, it's 30 or 20 some games, right? 20, what are we at?
29 games
29
left,
games.
but the
So that's a lot
deadline
of,
would be way before that, of course.
that's a lot of hockey.
Other decisions, but he's got time to
I've seen enough
to come
I
up.
don't, yeah. I've seen enough to think, no, they don't need to prioritize the defenseman at the deadline. Personally, that's where I'm at. And I know maybe not everyone's there, but just from the way he's moving, I'm good with him. So
he was playing with Nurse tonight, and Kulak was back with Emberson on I think a strong third pairing when they put those two together.
Isn't it?
And of course, the first pairing of Ekholm and Bouchard is one of the better pairs in the entire league.
If those three pairs of defensemen are healthy in the playoffs, I'm good. Those guys are good to go. Darnell Nurse is playing the best hockey of his NHL career, as is Matthias Ekholm. Evan Bouchard is having. It's funny, Bruce. All of the statistics, all of the metrics point to Bouchard being the best defenseman on the Oilers, including the metric we keep. Goal, major contributions to grade A shots as compared to major mistakes on grade A shots against. He's number one over the whole year. Anyway, I think I've in my own head solved the riddle of why people are so down on him. It's because he is making a lot more turnovers, a higher ratio of turnovers this year on grade A shots against than he is making stretch passes on grade A shots for. That ratio's out of whack compared to last year, and I think it's created a perception which is somewhat justified that he's not playing that well. He is making a lot of bonehead plays, so that's fair enough. All right.
But
your bad thing.
60% is 60%. I'll take a 3-to-2 ratio on pretty much anything that's important.
Yeah.
Anyway, my bad thing is I'm tempted to just say the refs because I think they
go for it if that's what you want to say.
Screwed up. Basically, 3 goals were direct result or indirect result of screw ups by the refs. With the call on Ekholm, that leveled the score 1-1, and it was like you knew that the next call was coming to Edmonton because the Oilers had gotten 3 in a row power plays, and a pass came along the boards to Braden Shen, right to him, and Ekholm just stepped up and hit him in the chest with his shoulder. As good and clean a body check as you could hope to see, with the puck there. And the ref decided, nope, that's interference, because they looked at about 5 angles. Now, 2 of them I thought Schenn ticked the puck, and on the other three, I wasn't so sure. And in each case, I thought Schenn was trying to make a play on the puck. And I mean, if guy's making a play on the puck and he gets hit, it's a hit, right? It's not interference to me anyway. And of course, they score on the power play, which is really my bad thing. Edmonton's penalty kill, second game in a row, they couldn't kill a penalty.
Yeah.
Without Ekholm. In each case, last game he was out sick, and they went 0 for 2, and tonight he was in the box, and they went 0 for 1, and they just had to do the job there, and they could not get it done. And then mostly it was, they killed the first chunk of it, and then they struggled to get the puck out of their zone, and then they finally got into the neutral zone with two forwards there, and all they had to do was chip it deep to kill the rest of the time, and they couldn't get it down, and then it came in, and scramble ensued, and Stu Skinner stopped one good shot by Holloway, but the rebound got chipped across the goal through the blue paint and tapped in with 8 seconds left in the penalty. So it was a fail by the power play, penalty kill. And then a couple minutes later, Schenn, the victim on the first penalty, creamed Zach Hyman right in the numbers.
Yeah.
And now it's not a penalty.
Yeah.
And within 50 seconds or within a minute, St. Louis had scored to go ahead 2-1. And there's a little blue language in the McCurdy household, upstairs and downstairs, during that whole period of time. And then, to be perfectly fair, the refs screwed up majorly in overtime, missing, I thought, a blatant holding the stick penalty on Draisaitl, where it looked like, was it Robert Thomas that was gone, and Leon just kind of grabbed the stick, and it was penalty all day, and somehow they missed that. And within 2 minutes, Edmonton scored the winner. So, I mean, you could say they got one call out of 3. Well, at least they did get one call, and it was really important. But I was not really impressed with the job of the men in stripes, but I also wasn't impressed with Oilers' penalty kill. Once again, they had one penalty to kill all night, and they couldn't get her done. So between the call and the kill is my bad thing.
Yeah.
Bad
on the Draisaitl one.
Bad kill.
On the Draisaitl one, you know what they say, Bruce? The only thing better than 2 hands on a hockey stick is 3 hands on a hockey stick. That's something actually I learned in one of my players in vintage hockey where I play said that, and I just I like that. You get your hockey stick in there, man. You're just asking for it to be held. So can't blame Leon for grabbing hold. Yeah, it was a penalty. It was definitely a penalty. The Hyman hit was a dangerous play.
Yeah,
and it should have been. It's like that's when I get upset. Like that's what gets my goat. Is when
player safety
it's a
is
player.
compromised.
Yeah. That's when the coach should get mad. That's when everyone should get mad. And that's what that was. It was a dirty hit by Schenn, who was mad that he got hit. The funny thing about when Schenn got hit, Bruce, the first guy to the rescue was the St. Louis Blues player who gave him the suicide pass. That's what it's called. You're like, like you should be able to read that. Like, there's that column, there's Schenn. You pass it to him, he's going to get hit. And he did get hit. And so that guy, he's all, I'm going to get Ekholm now because I made a suicide pass.
I owe Braden one.
Yeah. This game, Bruce, had the feeling very much of it was in many ways a snoozer of a hockey game, and I think we're seeing. I really do feel, or maybe it's just me, mid-season hockey blues. Like it just feels like a grind right now with these games. The players are they want to get to the Four Nations tournament. They want to get to the trading deadline. They want to get through this as quickly as possible, and a lot of the teams, I think, are kind of mailing it in, and you could see the Oilers were totally mailing it in, and even though they were outchancing the Blues because they're a much better team, and they were having a hard time cranking it up in the third period after the Blues got going. They were dominating this game, and they just couldn't take it up a notch until there was such a brilliant play by McDavid and Draisaitl. And this is, how many games have we seen this year, Bruce, just won by their brilliance? And this is what it is to have superstars on your team. Yep. You would otherwise lose these games, and there's probably been about 10 to 15 of them this year where the Oilers just would have lost. But they have, what separates them is these two hockey players, these two absolutely brilliant Hall of Fame hockey players. I think it's safe to say at this point they are. It is a treat to watch these guys night in, night out, even on nights like this one. My bad thing, Bruce. Well, I'm gonna do an about face here and criticize Connor McDavid because on the tying goal, the 2-2 goal, hockey happens fast, man. You make one wrong move and the puck's in the net. This was an example of that. The Oilers are kind of set up in their defensive zone, and Kulak's in the corner on his player, and the player kind of moves away from Kulak, and Kulak kind of spins back into him. For a second, the player with the puck isn't really being covered, and McDavid leaves his position to go get him. So you have the swarm, Bruce, in the corner. Two guys on one swarming the puck carrier. And that means, though, that the lane, cross-seam lane is open. And Colton Parayko's there. Maybe Leon Draisaitl should have covered him, maybe not. I'm not sure. But I know this. McDavid, by overcommitting like that and not covering off that passing lane, McDavid caused that goal against. And Kulak would have recovered and either stopped the pass or not. But if McDavid had been in better position, there's no goal. So what happened? That these things happen in hockey. They happen super fast. They happen to the best player in hockey, and they happen to the worst players in hockey even more. I can attest to that myself. So yeah, that's my bad thing. Your number.
Yeah, that was so a little bit of sloppy coverage there, and Skinner. Some thought he should get over there and make the save, but it was, he was watching the guy in front, and when the puck got through him and over to Parayko, and he slammed it on net.
There's a guy in the high slot that could have been passed to. Yes, and it's easy. It's easy for people to say that. That was
Skinner's read to me. Yeah, it was the guy in the high slot, and it went through him and right over to Parayko, who was kind of in a little bit of an unusual spot, especially for the right defenseman, to be creeping up into the left circle like that, and he just got it away quickly and in the net.
It's important to think hard before you declare an NHL player out of position or doing the wrong thing on the ice, because they're processing the game with more knowledge and at an ice level than fans have. And there's often something that you'll suddenly notice that you hadn't noticed before. There was a play with Darnell Nurse the other game where he looked like he was kind of backing up too far and leaving the high slot open. And then I realized, oh yeah, there's a player down on the dot. He's got to be covering him. He was thinking about him. He couldn't go up to take that shooter out. So be careful. I'll suggest to anyone, when you're thinking hard about who's out of position or not, it's not always that easy to tell, because they're making super fast reads, but they're often right. They have a sense of the game that is exceptional, which is why they're NHLers. What's your number?
Yeah, my number is 30. Happy 30th birthday to you, Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
I turned
30
today and celebrated that with a win. We've been watching him since he was
18.
Well, yeah, 18. Breaking into the NHL at age 20 as a full-time player after just 6 games in the minor leagues. And he joins now a very large group of Edmonton Oilers who are 30 plus, which is more my focus of the number. And that includes up front Corey Perry, a senior citizen at 39 years. He'll turn 40 in the playoffs. Derek Ryan gone now, so they've made one change there. Adam Henrique, Jeff Skinner, Zach Hyman, Matthias Janmark, Victor Arvidsson, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who's going to be 32 in a couple months. Nuge.
Yeah.
And Connor Brown, 31. Kajulo's not on the team right now. And the only guys they have under 30, Draisaitl, Kapanen, McDavid, Philp, and Podkolzin, with only Podkolzin younger than 26.
And Emberson.
And on that's forward.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
And then on the blue line now, with all those forwards that we have over 30 on the blue line now, we have Ekholm as a senior citizen, 34. He turns 35 on May 24th, which coincidentally enough is the 35th anniversary of Edmonton's last Stanley Cup win. So there's that. John Klingberg, they've added, of course, and he's 32. Brett Kulak, 31. Josh Brown, occasional player, 31. Troy Stetcher now looks like the number 7 guy, 30. Darnell Nurse, 30. And the only guys they have under 30 are Evan Bouchard, age 25, and Ty Emerson, 24. So again, they just have 2 players on the entire roster younger than 25, and 3, younger than, what's it, 27, 28, 3 younger than 28.
Yeah.
4, I guess, Stu Skinner as well. But it's a very long in the tooth crew. And it's a rare feat, for a guy to get drafted by the Oilers and actually make it with the team through to his 30th birthday. Doesn't happen often. Nuge, of course, did it.
Smith.
And Ryan Smith did it. Did he do it? No,
yeah,
I'm
he
not
was
sure
30.
Because
he was more than 30
when he got traded.
Yeah, he was like 31 or 32.
Yeah, he did. Al Shemsky, I think, made it to 31. But so often we see these guys moved out of town when they're 28, 27, 26. Seems like if they're if they're great players, they're generally okay. If they're good players, though, it seems like the shine comes off of them for a while, and people just expect more, and they kind of reach their level, and before you know it, you're hearing criticism of those guys, both in the papers or what passes for the papers anymore, and also in the like the team doesn't seem that happy with them, and you get the same thing with the fans. Like some of the Oilers that the fans have the hardest time with are guys like Evan Bouchard, Stu Skinner, successful draft picks, but they're, because they're not just streaking like a meteor for the top without any sort of deviation. It seems like patience runs out with these guys oftentimes, and certainly Nurse has had to play through more than his share of that. But now he's made it to 30, and he's really matured. I think his game has matured this year, and I think the coaching of Paul Coffey has helped him. And I just think he's more calmed down out there, and certainly his puck distribution has become way better. And there's some rough edges to his game, but you kind of want some rough edges on his game. I mean, he can be rough in a good way. Tonight, for example, Nurse, 4 shots, 8 shot attempts, 4 hits, 2 giveaways, 2 blocked shots. That's a lot of stuff going on in the game. Like he was, and he played 22 minutes and 15 seconds on a true second pairing that he's essentially defined for most of the season. And so, birthday boy, I wrote an article about the Oilers' elder statesman on McDavid's birthday when he turned 28, and he was still the second youngest forward on the team at that point. And they still since added Noah Philp into the mix, but it hasn't really changed. The Oilers are an old team that even their draft choices that they've kept for years and years are still among the youngest players, and they're supported by acquired players, trades, free agents, and the like, who are older than them. I mean, it was, again, just the latest example being John Klingberg, right? They
Yeah.
didn't bring in a 26-year-old or 28-year-old. They brought in a 32-year-old. And that seems to be their preference.
Well, it's going to be their modus operandi in the years to come as well,
Seems like it.
because players who have made a lot of money are willing to come play for a team for a little less to win a Stanley Cup. And I think that's what we're
Hope
seeing with
so.
the Oilers. So we got about 5 more years of that, right? I think
Mhm.
McDavid and Draisaitl are in their peak years for 5 more years. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You never know with injury, and it could last longer than that. But once they get to be 34, 35, 36, like Pittsburgh at one point with Crosby and Malkin, they stop being able to attract those choice players.
Right.
It ends at some point. And then you've got to have new talent. And this, to me, this is why it's like Klingberg is so important this year, Bruce. They were going to have to pay an arm and a leg to bring in a top 4 D man. Now, Klingberg has got to be able to do the job. He's got to come through for the team, but I think he can. And the fact that they were able to get him for nothing except for cap space, huge for the team, because they would have to give up their first pick. Either what's his name? Sam O'Reilly? Sam O'Reilly. Sam
Yeah.
Riley or Sam O'Reilly?
O'Reilly.
Sam O'Reilly, their first pick this past year. They might have had to trade him,
Maybe.
or they don't have a first pick in this draft, so they had to trade the first pick coming up. You can't keep, or maybe they have to
Wow.
trade Matthew Savoy,
Still.
their top player in Bakersfield. So you can't keep doing that. And eventually it will catch up to you. You're going to need a real infusion of young talent. And they're going to have to get lucky with some of these players like Matthew Savoy or Sam O'Reilly or whoever else.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? LeChance in Boston,
Shane the Chance, yeah.
Boston
Scored a
University.
nice goal in the Beanpot tournament yesterday. It was on the highlights last night.
Great big guy. Now he is, I think, 21 or 22. He's not young, like for a prospect.
Right.
But
He's a
great,
NC2A guy.
yeah, great big hulking guy, hulking winger with a great shot. They're going to need one or two of these guys to step up into the top 6 as the years go by and bolster the top store. And Pittsburgh kind of had that with Gensel, didn't they? They had some guys in Rust come on, Brian Rust, people come out of nowhere and help the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, the Oilers are going to need that, so they may get it. But I'm glad that Klingberg's turned out, and man, am I glad about Darnell Nurse this year, Bruce. This is like such fantastic news. Even his critics, even his harshest critics, are saying grudgingly good things about him because of his superior passing and skating this year and his reasonable, at least, defending. So, um, big news for Darnell Nurse, and he's got 4 more years, I think, at least on it. Is it 4 more years after this one on the contract, or is it
Oh,
5? 4.
that's
It's a while. So,
that's
but
that's 5 more.
if he can skate, he can play. If he's skating well, not banged up and injured, this
Mm-hmm.
guy can be a strong NHL defenseman throughout that entire time because he is getting smarter with his decision making with the puck. We're seeing it this year. It is fantastic. Congratulations, Darnell Nurse, for turning around your game and shutting up your critics. Bruce, my number relates to Leon Draisaitl's executioner shots. I always like to update this every now and then. So Leon, so far this year, in 53 games, has 10 goals off the executioner shot. That compares to 22 goals in 76 games last year, 17 goals in 80 games the year before, 21 in 80 games the year before that, 18 in 56 games
True.
the year before that, and 21 in 71 games. So he's a little behind pace. His rate of getting grade A shots off the executioner shot is down a little bit. He's averaged 1 a game since we started tracking this in 29-20. He's averaged 1 per game. He's at he's at 0.08 this year per game. And his shooting percentage at that time has been 33% on the executioner shot that hits the net. for a grade A shot. 33% of the time they go in. This year he's just at 24%. So he's just now, I think, starting to really crank it up. He had a pretty cold first 10, 15 games in terms of the one-timer. But he and McDavid are getting their timing down now. And they're starting to, they're cranking it up. So I think we're going to see, and man, so how many goals does he have? Do you know?
37.
Wow. 37. And that's without his most lethal weapon being
10 on the power play.
His most lethal weapon hasn't been as lethal. It's still, that's 24% is pretty good for shooting percentage for but once he really gets it going, we'll see how many goals he gets in the end.
Yeah, I don't suppose you can do it at a drop of a hat, but I think the splits of execution of shots at even versus power play would tell a tale. And I think we've seen this year a concerted attempt by opponents to take away that weapon on the power play. And that's
Bruce,
part of the reason Leon's only got 10.
You're dead right. So in for the total, since we've been adding this up, he's had 264 one-timer executioner shots on the power play and 122 at even strength. Wow. This year, it's 20 at even strength and 22 on the power play.
So 1-to-1 compared to 2-to-1 plus.
Correct.
Yeah, no,
your intuition was correct.
Teeing him up for that on the power play.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. And I mean, sometimes he's getting them and missing, but a lot of times that pass just isn't getting through.
Yeah, and they're really
I get the sense that other teams are saying, we got to stop, we have to give them something else to take away that passing lane. And then, of course, 6-on-5 tonight, there was that lane, boom.
1 year.
So, 2 games in a row. I mean, last game too, same thing, right? 6-on-5. So
in 22-23, Bruce, he had 8 executioner shots at even strength and 44 on the power play. By comparison, so that ratio it's like you say, it's almost 1-to-1 this year. So they are looking to take it away. The first year though we ever measured it, Bruce, he had 34 at even strength and 31 on the power play. Okay. So that's interesting. It became more of a power play thing as the 2020s, the roaring 20s that we're now living through. I don't know if they're roaring. There's something. As we've gone through the 20s, he's become more and more of a power play specialist with that shot. But this year they are, I think, defending for it. Right. So tomorrow night,
at the moment, he's got a 5-goal lead on second place William Nylander, who scored twice tonight to get to 32.
Yeah, so that's a pretty player.
And that game is still going on, but very late in Calgary. A couple guys at 31, but Leon's been ahead by, sort of 5 or 6 goals now for the last little while. I know he had 35 before anybody else even got to 30. So he's really pounding them home with regularity. But this year, 27 at even strength, which is the big improvement. And his power play production's actually down a bit, at least on the goals front.
If he wins the scoring, if he wins the Rocket Richard for most goals, I think he wins the MVP this year. That's my bet.
He's certainly in the hunt. Him and Hellebuyck is the dark horse that a lot of people seem to forget when they talk about. Maybe the voters will forget him too, but he's having such a dominant season across all the goalie statistics and, winning so many games. He shut out the Hurricanes tonight, for example, that he's going to warrant some serious consideration. And there's
goalies win it now and then.
Candidates. Once in a while. The great Dominic Hasek won a couple. Great Jacques Plante won the MVP. And the not so great Jose Theodore
I was just about to
won
say
the
that.
MVP in 2002 in a tie vote with Jerome McGinley, when one of the Montreal reporters voted Theodore first and left Jerome McGinley off the ballot when he won the Rocket Richard and the Art Ross. And that was just outright outright cheating. I have no respect. I can't remember the guy's name because he needs to be forgotten in the sands of time. But that was one of the more unjust outcomes of NHLPA voting in my memory, which goes back a long way, by the way.
As do your grudges, Bruce.
Yeah, well, I didn't come by this white hair lightly. I had to earn it. Years of grudges and miscarriages of justice, and that was one. Theodore had a good year, but Iginla had a great year. It should not have been close.
It shouldn't have. And yeah, I mean,
so
I always think that on some level, the MVP should be a bit of a career award. I don't like it when these people kind of come out of nowhere, Taylor Hall, and win the MVP and, disappear just as fast. I just think don't do it that way.
Nylander, 33, scored in the empty net, hat-trick goal.
Well, he's a hell of a hockey player. He really is. I was so impressed with Nylander in the Toronto game, man. He is fast and good with the puck and dangerous. What a hockey player. He really is. So I don't complain about really, really good players like McKinnon and McCarr and Nylander. I just respect them. So
yeah, it's a great league with a lot of great players in it. You can't hate everybody on all the other teams because they're almost as good as your guys.
But we can hate Kucherov, right?
Oh, you can pick your spots. Yeah, I don't like Kucherov. He tripped a guy into the net the other night. That was just brutal, dirty. And
what about that
fine? Not even a fine.
What about Hartman getting 10 games? Was that ever sweet?
Yeah. It was like the NHL Department of Player Safety had an in-person hearing this time. It was like it started off with "you again."
Yeah. You're just a nasty piece of work,
always, aren't you? Yeah, he's such a, I got to say it, dirtbag.
Yeah.
For the various cheap, dirty stuff like he did to Stützle. It's like, Exhibit Z from a long, long file.
Slew foot on Draisaitl.
Dirty stuff.
Sneaky hit on Bouchard.
Drive Bouchard into the net with 1 minute left in a blowout.
Yeah.
And just a nasty piece of work. Butt ends, slew feet. He's got a wide range. It's not like he does the same thing over and over again like Rafi Torres, who could never learn that you shouldn't explode up and into a hit, but that's basically all he ever got suspended for. Hartman's got a wide range of misdeeds, and he finally got hammered. And I was shocked that it was 10 games, but I think on balance, he earned a major suspension at some point because of his style of play. It was like they finally cracked down and said, enough from you. Have a seat for a while.
The good news is, Bruce, it sends a message to him. Like the next time it's 20 games or 25 games or 30 games. Like he's getting into Matt Cook territory here.
Yeah.
Where they will just kick him out of the league for a significant amount of time if he keeps up this BS. And I'm all for that. So good stuff.
I don't think his body count is as high as Matt Cook in terms of injuries. Like Matt Cook deliberately injured a few guys, and I hated Matt Cook like virtually no other player, and that was why I thought he deliberately tried to hurt opponents, put them out, injure them, not just sort of soften them up and leave a mark with a heavy hit, but it was like, oh, that guy's vulnerable, I'm going to kill him. That was kind of the take I got from Matt Cook's game. But anyway, Hartman is a lower grade version of that.
Matt Cook. Wow, he played a long time in the NHL. Yeah, he played 1,046 games, Bruce. Yeah. Scored 167 goals.
He was a Canuck.
He was a Canuck for a long time, wasn't he? Yeah. Won a cup in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
2009. Anyway. Tomorrow night, Bruce? Tomorrow night?
Yeah, one more game tomorrow night. One last little shout out tonight. Jeff Skinner, 2 great defensive plays. After making a great defensive play, was it last game or the game before, where he came flying back on the back check, and tonight he did it twice.
Yeah.
To break up very dangerous St. Louis opportunities. And I thought one was an almost certain goal. And Jeff Skinner, by doing this kind of stuff, I would be almost willing to guarantee you that he won't be the guy coming back out of the lineup when Adam Henrique presumably returns tomorrow night, unless there's something wrong with him that I'm not aware of. I don't know.
He was sick.
Did you hear he was sick? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if he's
just
still
got-
sick, there's no decision to be made. But if he isn't sick, I don't think it'll be Jeff Skinner that comes out to make room for him.
No. Bruce,
I got a
let's leave
few
it there.
candidates.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.